Yes, indeed, folks, you're listening to Blue Please here on CynicalBrit.com with myself, Soul Biscuit, fighting through the wall of tiredness at the moment. Oh, I don't even know if I'm going to get a human video done tonight. Absolutely bloody exhausted. You know what, I might have a chill-out day and then I'll do all video tomorrow. That sounds like good. Okay. Right, let's talk a little bit about this Real ID thing, because the last show that I did, which was last Tuesday, the Real ID thing had just hit and everyone was going crazy. And I think I'm maybe one of 3 people that I know of that was not entirely opposed to the idea. I didn't think it was amazing, but I understood the principle behind it, and I was kind of okay with it. I mean, you got to bear in mind, though, that I'm the sort of person that has my name on the internet and has had it there for years. So, to me, it's not really a big deal. Yeah, you know what? If you put yourself out on the internet in any way, shape, or form, you're going to get harassed, and it's not that difficult to find people's real name, regardless of whether or not it's even there for you to look at. And then, of course, it goes on from there. You know, if people wanted to harass me, they could do so, and they have in the past. And you know what? You just deal with it, because that's part of doing things on the internet. If you don't want to be harassed, then don't ever talk to anybody in the world ever again. Welcome to real life. Sadly, that's the way that it has to go. You just got to harden the hell up. Myself, I supported it to some degree, Octail supported it to some degree, and the remix guy on YouTube that did the Mr. Voltron stuff and the Ulduar remix stuff, the XTW02, he supported it. And that's about it. Everyone else that I could find absolutely despised this whole idea. Now, a few days ago, Blizzard decided to say, hey, we're not going to do this anymore. You want to know why? Well, because apparently they thought it was a bad idea. Did they honestly think that the community was going to react well to that? Really? Honestly? No. You can't be serious. The community wasn't going to react well to that. Not a chance. The community doesn't react well when you move a stone in Stormwind 3 feet to the left, and they really hate video makers that don't notice that. I tell you that for a fact. Oh dear. It's cardinal sin, ladies and gentlemen. How dare you? How dare you? Ugh. Dear Lord. Yes, indeed. I think, honestly, this was a test. The test was to see just how far they could go. They wanted to see whether or not there would be even the remotest possibility in the next 5+ years or whatever to have a system like this. Because they're big into the Real ID thing, they're big into the social interaction. They put it in the game, but it's optional, of course. Now, it's actually kind of handy, because I can check which game my wife's playing, what server she's on, because she's got multiple characters. It's all pretty handy overall. It's fairly useful. I use it for my Shoutcraft stuff. It's very easy to set up a Real ID Battle.net account and then have my guys who play on my show add me. You know, that's easy. I don't really care if people have my name. That doesn't make any difference to me, honestly. My name is on there. If people wanted to do, commit nonsense or whatever, then nothing's really stopping them, honestly. But I think you vastly overestimate your own sense of importance if you think that people are going to do that to you on a consistent basis. But yeah, that's where it went, and the reaction was fueled, of course, by a fairly foolish move by Bashiok to release his name and said, see, I put my name out, nothing could possibly go wrong. Now this is the thing, you're just asking for trouble. Right? You can find out the CM's names fairly easily. Anyway, I've been able to access an elite form of hacks. Yeah? So I hacked the Gibson, and I was able to get the names of almost everyone that ever worked on the original World of Warcraft. It's unbelievable. My hacking skills are elite. They are beyond compare and peer. You have no idea. It's amazing. So what I did was, using my elite skills and my amazing knowledge of the hardware, I picked up this book that is on a time delay on the video feed. You will see it, no doubt, at some point. Maybe you've seen it already. This book is the World of Warcraft Game Manual. And you know what's in the World of Warcraft Game Manual, ladies and gentlemen? I can tell you. The credits. You know what the credits say? Oh yes, that's the real name of everybody that worked on World of Warcraft. Here we go. Would you like to know the name of one of the cinematic technical artists? Well, how about we start off? John Burnett, Joe Frayne, Stieg Haskell, Jared Keller, Hung Lee. Hung Lee, that's nice. And Nelson Wang. Would you like to know the guy that supervised the render farm? Yes, indeed. Mike Kramer. There you go. Lead compatibility testers, QA testers, worldwide launch coordinators, Vogue utilization team, Blizzard Entertainment guys. Yes, indeed. What have we got? Global brand manager. Packaging artwork was done by Brom, William Petras, and Justin Tharavet. Yes, indeed. And a very special thank you to friends, family, and kids. All named right here in the manual. I am such a elite hacksaw. It's unbelievable. How did I manage that? Skills, man. Pro freaking skills. Finding people's real names is easy. But with all the nonsense going on over it, I can understand why people didn't want it to happen. And honestly, while no doubt I think that a lot has to be done to stop trolling on the forums and to create a real environment that people can actually have a discussion in without people getting so upset and crying over nothing, then let's see a way of doing that. Something that makes sense. Real ID was never really going to work, was it? It would have helped. I don't think there's really any doubt about that. It would have helped. But would it have fixed anything? Let me tell you what I think would fix anything. If you want to stop trolling on the forums, then there are a few things you've got to do. And the first thing is something that should have been on since day frickin' one. And that is the ability to see all the characters on a posting account. Now, you're going to cry and scream, oh, the harassment possibilities, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Welcome to a video game on the internet. Some people may harass you. Some people may take exception to what you say. Let's see, what have I had? Yes, death threats. I've had calls of work. What else have I had? Oh yes, messages over YouTube, my email, Twitter, all manner of amazing, crazy things. Harassment happens on the internet. Suck it up or leave. If someone harasses you in-game, you do what you're supposed to do, which is report it to a GM who will then deal with it. It doesn't matter if people know the name of your other alts or whatever. If you say something dumb, you should be accountable for that. If you're not willing to put your real name, you're not willing to stamp your real name onto your opinion, then please explain to me why you would state it in the first place. Indeed. Fairly ridiculous, isn't it? It boggles the mind that people wouldn't feel the need to hide behind a persona that isn't even identifiable. Everyone has a persona on the internet, but that persona, especially in World of Warcraft, is often personified specifically by their main. Yeah, the character that they play an awful lot, because that character is a representation of who they are and their particular thought patterns, what they are trying to accomplish. That is their existence within the game. So that is the character and the persona that has things like respect, disrespect, opinions, reputation attached to it. So if some guy's a ninja looter, then that stays with him. If some guy is an unpleasant guy to group with, that stays with him. Some guy is a kind guy who likes to help people out, that stays with him as well. That's their persona. That is what they are known most for. And as far as I'm concerned, in the context of WoW, I don't really care if Peter Smith is espousing a particular opinion, but I might care if Orc Warrior 522 is espousing a real opinion. Because that's who they are within the game. And they're accountable for that. If I hate what somebody says, I can go in a game and I can tell them as such, because that's my right. They, of course, then have the right to completely ignore me if they so wish, but at the end of the day, if you're not willing to back up your opinion with a genuine identity of some description, then your opinion is worth nothing. People always used to whine about the phrase post on your main. They're like, well, how is that even relevant? Well, it is relevant. You want to know why it's relevant? It's relevant because it shows how much you are willing to stand behind your opinion. If we know who it is that said something, then you become accountable for that. If you are just trolling Alt 577, then you're not really putting out an opinion at all. It's like knocking on somebody's door and then running away giggling and thinking you've just epically owned somebody. It's not the case. You're a coward. You're a spineless worm if you're not willing to put your persona and the full weight of the characters that you play behind something you say in a video game. It sounds a lot more serious than it is, because we're talking about video games here. This has always been the show where everything goes a little bit over the top, blah, blah, blah. You know how it goes. It's OTT. It's larger than life. It's in context. In the real world, none of this matters. Who cares what your opinion of Ulduar hard modes was? Nobody. It's absolutely irrelevant in the grand scheme of things, but we're talking about discussing something within the context of WoW, on the WoW forums, and that matters. It matters within World of Warcraft, it matters on the WoW forums. Honestly, your opinions about WoW are the most important thing on the WoW forums. I don't care if you make $50,000 a year, if you make $15,000, $5,000, $500,000, that doesn't matter. That doesn't affect your opinion of WoW. Who cares? I don't care if you've got 1 kid, 2 kid, 3 kid, no kid. I don't give a damn. If you're a female, a male, if you're black, Hispanic, white, yellow, green, from outer space, none of that matters. What matters is what you are saying on the WoW forum about WoW, and whether or not you've got the balls to back that up with some real names. And by real names, I'm referring to your persona in-game. Because your real name, in the grand scheme of WoW, doesn't mean anything. And I think really that's the mistake that Blizzard made. That is the biggest error. Let's not claim otherwise. This was a huge faux pas. Blizzard either completely underestimated how annoyed people would be by this, and I don't think they're that dumb. Here's the thing. Do you really think Blizzard are that stupid? They've made mistakes in the past, but this is brain dead. And they read their own forums. They are aware of how upset people get. Did they honestly believe, and did they think this through, that anyone would really come out in major support of this? There are legitimate problems with it, like being a female, for instance. Welcome to Stalkersville, population U, because you have a name that sounds a little bit feminine. Welcome to racism. If you've got a name that sounds a bit foreign, welcome to being harassed. Welcome to homophobia, and indeed whatever the phobia of transsexual and transgender people are. But it's obvious, like, oh, well, this is a weird name, blah, blah, blah. You know, I've heard you on Vent, and you sound like this, but you're actually this, and this is your real name, and oh, God, blah, blah, blah. All this bad stuff. Xenophobia, whatever. All of this kind of thing. Those are obvious problems. Those are the kind of things which do not contribute to a good community. As much as I would like to say that Real ID would fix the trolling problem, the only real reason that I was in support of it is because at least it would do something about the trolling problem, because they haven't done anything about it for years. For God's sake, they've kicked most of the intelligent guys off the forums just because they express their opinion in a way that isn't really incredibly meek and mild. They don't provide automatic default respect, like handing out heroic badges to people that post on the internet. Oh, well, you didn't post anything good on the internet, but I suppose it's the thought that counts. So here, you get default respect. You can hand in your respect tokens for some tier 11. Bollocks to that. You earn your respect by posting stuff that isn't garbage. That's the kind of thing that should be encouraged. Post things that aren't garbage. Post good things. And when people post bad things, they should be open to all of the strong disagreement that comes with it. But don't think that they didn't realise what was going on here. You would have to be a moron to realise, well, to not realise what would have happened if they put this in. This was never going to get in. Ever. This was testing the water. Blizzard wants to expand the social aspect of WoW into stuff like Facebook integration. I imagine Twitter will get in there at some point. They've already got the in-game real ID system. They wanted to test the waters and feel out where the limits are, and then they can start building within that. I will bet a lot of money on Real ID and the fact that it was never planned to be in the game. Certainly not in 2010. Maybe in 2020, when people are way, way happier about having their names and details on the internet. But not now. No way. Blizzard aren't that dumb. This was a test. What have we proved? Well, we can shout a lot, get very upset, and harass people in real life. Oh, how mature we are. My name is Total Biscuit. You're listening to Blue Please here on CynicalBrit.com. This is KMFDM with Stars and Stripes. I'll be right back after this to do a little bit of Cataclysm Q&A. Enjoy.